sweeping the heavily favored Cleveland Indians to win the World Series, their fifth in New York. Now, the defending world champion San Francisco Giants meet Cleveland again. This time it's interleague play. Both teams at or near the top of their divisions. Game 1 is next. It's a beautiful early evening in downtown San Francisco, and we are at many San Franciscans' favorite address, 24 Willie Mays Plaza. It's the Giants and the Cleveland Indians. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller, along with Mike Krukow. Welcome to San Francisco Giants baseball. The Giants defeated Minnesota 2 out of 3. Now they're going to take on the team that is atop the American League Central Division, the surprising Cleveland Indians. And with Jonathan Sanchez going for the Giants, he's up against a guy named Carlos Carrasco, who's a 7-game winner.
Well, indeed, and if you look at what one of the strengths are of this Cleveland Indians team has been their pitching staff. They rank 7th in the American League with their staff ERA 3.90, and the horse of this staff has been Carlos Carrasco, the 7-game winner. And you're going to see really one of the biggest fastballs in the American League Central tonight in Carrasco. Now, it's interesting. 3 years ago today, it was Jonathan Sanchez that pitched 7 2/3 innings against Cleveland in Cleveland and beat him. He 5-hit him, allowed just 1 run. So he knows this team a little bit, and he's had some success against them. But he needs to have fastball command. That's something that he's really been flirting with the last month. It hasn't been consistent. For him to beat this team, he needs to be on top of his fastball.
Well, a few years ago when the Giants played in Cleveland, they saw Cliff Lee. Lee eventually got traded to Philadelphia. Carrasco is one of the guys they got in return in that trade. The Giants with a lineup heavily favoring left-handed hitters, and Carrasco's been vulnerable to left-handed hitting.
Well, that's the hope. I mean, the Giants starting to swing the bat a little bit now. They're starting to get a little bit of contribution up and down the lineup, and it's Bruce Bochy's wish that to get a couple, 2-3 guys hot that can string together hits, put together a couple crooked numbers, and have this offense take off. They've been waiting for the veterans all year to get going, and tonight you're going to see some veterans with Burrow and Rowan. They're both in the lineup, so he's hoping to get something from them, and I think fans here in San Francisco are a little impatient too. All
right, so we'll see what happens. Yesterday, the Giants won the rubber match of the series without much offense. Tim Lincecum rose to the occasion, pitched a beauty. When we come back, NBC Bay Area news anchor Raj Mathai with more on Tim Lincecum's beauty right after this. Xfinity. Xfinity is TV, internet, and voice services that work together so you can enjoy everything you love anytime, anywhere, and any way you want.
Beautiful shots. Welcome to Friday Night Baseball right here on NBC Bay Area. We don't say this too often, but the Cleveland Indians are in town. In fact, for only the second time in their franchise history, the Indians making a road trip to San Francisco to play the Giants. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Raj Mathai. We are inside the Giants dugout. The first place Cleveland Indians taking on the Giants, and for the Giants, it's been a roller coaster season. So many key injuries. You know the drill here. Freddie Sanchez, Pablo Sandoval, Buster Posey. As for Tim Lincecum, he has been healthy all season, but really ineffective for the last month or so until yesterday. Lincecum and the Giants couldn't be more relieved, shutting down the Minnesota Twins. It was vintage Lincecum, 12 strikeouts, allowing just 3 hits in 7 scoreless innings. Now, why was Tim Lincecum struggling coming into yesterday's game? He said straight up he was losing some of his confidence. Seems hard to imagine the guy that's won 2 Cy Youngs to lose confidence, but he did. He said he chatted with 2 people, his father, Chris Lincecum, and his old catcher, Benji Molina. They both told him the same thing. Act like it, one of the best pitchers in the league, because you are one of the best pitchers in the league. Lincecum has now evened his record at 6-6. Jonathan Sanchez comes into tonight struggling. Hopefully he can turn things around. Now, speaking of turnarounds, one of the best stories in all of baseball, Ryan Vogelsong, not long ago in Japan, and now he might be headed to the All-Star game. We'll check in with Ryan coming up next right here on our pregame show.
Xfinity is TV, internet, and voice services that work together so you can enjoy everything you love anytime, anywhere, and any way you want.
A spectacular evening for baseball. Another sellout crowd here at AT&T Park. In fact, we've been saying that all season long. Welcome back to Giants Baseball. I'm Raj Mathai. We are inside the dugout, counting down towards the first pitch. Giants and the Cleveland Indians. Now, one of the best stories in all of baseball, not just here in San Francisco, but in the entire country, is the story of Ryan Vogelsong. From out of nowhere, almost, he is now one of the Giants' leaders on this team. In fact, in many ways, has saved the season for the Giants because they've gone through so many injuries. Ryan joins us now. First of all, I'm saying all that stuff. Is it strange for you to hear that? What's going on with you so far?
Yeah, it's real strange. Considering about a year ago and a month, I was sitting at home without a job. So it hits home real well, but it sounds funny.
We were just talking before all this started. You have a 5-1 record, an ERA under 2. These are video game type numbers. Honest question here, an honest answer at least. Are you surprised by the success you're having right now?
Yes, I am. I knew that I had the ability to pitch well. The consistency is what's surprising me, but the numbers I'm putting up right now are really, really unimaginable for me. I mean, if you look back at what I did before, I know the past doesn't have to represent the future, but it would be hard to predict what's happening.
Do you play this game with a little anger? And I mean that in the sense that a couple of years ago you were in Japan for 3 years. No one was calling you. Major League Baseball didn't believe in you at that point. You playing with a little anger now coming in?
Not anger. Just I'm really approaching almost every inning like it could be my last because I've been in that situation already. So I take nothing for granted anymore and just go after every hitter like he's going to be the last guy I face and try and give it all I got. Okay, this is obviously a script of a Disney movie, but we're talking hard numbers now. Do you deserve to be an all-star in a couple of weeks in Arizona? I've been trying to step around this question. I don't know. It's there's a lot of guys putting up some good numbers this year from the pitching standpoint. So where I stack up against them, I don't know. I'll let everyone just say yes. I'll let everyone else figure that out. I think it helps me that obviously Boch is picking the reserve, so maybe that gives me a little edge. But would I like to be there? Obviously, yes. Last question, in one word, describe what's happening to you this season. Dreamlike. Awesome. It's been fun to watch. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. All right, Ryan, keep it up. Let's play some baseball now. Giants and Indians lineups and first pitch coming up next right here on NBC Bay Area and the Giants Television Network.
The Giants and the Cleveland Indians with virtually identical records. The Clevelanders, however, atop the American League Central by a game. The Giants a half game back of Arizona in the National League West.
Right now, we're going to take a look at our key ingredients for this game, brought to you by Round Table. Where there's flame, there's flavor. With Round Table's new fire-roasted pizzas, let Round Table fire one up for you today. Number one, lefties in the lineup. Carlos Carrasco does not do that well against lefties. They're hitting .313 against them. Righties hitting .199. The first four hitters in the Giants lineup, all left-handed. There are 5 total, and look for some action at the top of the Giants lineup because of those lefties. Number 2, Jonathan Sanchez, as always, fastball command. At times he struggled with the fastball, and we would like to see him have about consistent command to the knees on both sides of the plate. He does that, and look out. That's when he throws no-hitters. And 6, 7, 8, the Giants have been real quiet, that part of the lineup. They need some contribution from the 6, 7, 8 guys. And the 6, 7, 8 guys tonight, Aaron Rowan, Brandon Crawford, and Chris Stewart. Those are your round table key ingredients.
Let's take a look at the batting order now for the visiting Cleveland Indians. It'll be Grady Sizemore, always a key man in this lineup. He's back in there now, center field. The veteran Orlando Cabrera, second. Asdrubal Cabrera, who is having his best year at short. Carlos Santana at first base. Shin-Soo Choo, the South Korean outfielder, right field, and he's started to get it going. Austin Kearns, the veteran, at left. Lou Marson, the catcher. Jack Hanahan, formerly with Oakland. And Carlos Carrasco, the pitcher, bats ninth up against Giants lefty Jonathan Sanchez. And here we go. The fastball, a strike on the inside, says Jerry Lane, who is the home plate umpire for this one.
There are the numbers, John, for Jonathan Sanchez, 4-5, 3.71 ERA.
Strike two.
Look at the strikeouts, averaging a little bit over 1 an inning. But the walks are what he really has to command, and it's always a concern. But lefties are not doing well against him, hitting just 174.
High and tight to Sizemore. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sizemore was one of the emerging stars in the American League. Outstanding center fielder, power, speed, a force in the lineup. But then the injuries started to recur. He's missed a lot of time the last couple of years. And he is down on strike. Sanchez puts him away right down.
It's a 92-mile-an-hour fastball from Sanchez on the payoff pitch. Let's take a look at the defense for the Giants tonight. Playing behind Jonathan Sanchez. First off in your outfield, it'll be Burrow, Torres, and Rowan. Crawford, Sandoval on the left side of the infield. Burris and Huff on the right side. And Chris Stewart will be in the squad, putting down the signs.
Orlando Cabrera, 36-year-old veteran, and a pop-up out of play. The field is covered in the shadows, but the hitter's backdrop in center field, reflecting the low-lying sun, the scoreboard as well. So visibility may not be ideal right now for a hitter. And the slider in the dirt, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And this is one of the key matchups in the game tonight for Jonathan Sanchez. He doesn't have a lot of history against these Indians, but he does have history against Cabrera, and it's not good. Cabrera hitting .556, 5 for 9 with 4 doubles.
So Orlando Cabrera, who's been around a long time, at the knees, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cabrera, for almost his entire career, has been a shortstop, but Cleveland had a shortstop, Asdrubal Cabrera. So he's moved over to second base. High fastball misses, and it's 2-2. But he has done some mentoring with Asdrubal Cabrera, who's always looked up to Orlando Cabrera. And he's the guy who told Asdrubal Cabrera, says, I've been watching you. You're a great hitter, but you should be hitting with power. Forget this single to right thing. And that slider misses, and the count is 3-2. Well, Asdrubal Cabrera said, okay, if you think so. And he's got 12 home runs. There he is on deck on the right side of the screen. Asdrubal Cabrera. Hitting back of Orlando Cabrera. 3-2 the count. And he gets the walk. So a strikeout followed by a walk, and here comes Asdrubal Cabrera. Young switch hitter. He's only 25 years old. Hitting .296. And he's got 12 home runs, 19 doubles, 3 triples, and he's stolen 12 bases. And he's pretty good at shortstop as well. Well, not much he doesn't do right now.
Those numbers are going to earn him a trip to Arizona for the All-Star game. That's how good he's been.
Orlando Cabrera, the runner at first, and he is back to the bag. Aubrey Huff on the bag with him. Orlando Cabrera has stolen 4 bases. Cleveland will run. They don't have any one guy who is stealing a whole lot of bases, but they've stolen 46 and only been caught 16 for the year as a team. And the changeup is off the outside, ball 1.
Well, I hope they go. I mean, what we've seen the last couple of weeks from Chris Stewart, the Giants catcher, is just remarkable. And we had him yesterday timed from the time he touched the ball and threw the ball down to second base and was touched by a middle infielder, 1.7 seconds, and that's extremely fast.
2-0.
And average is 1.97 seconds. And the difference between 1.8 and 1.7 is 3 feet. So you see what he's done. 5 of 9 he's thrown out. He's just been remarkable. And for him to go 1.7 as a 6'4" catcher is truly remarkable.
And it's 3-0. Well, he threw out Ben Revere, the speedy Twins leadoff man, yesterday. And the ball was there way before Revere arrived at second base. Just off the outside.
Now, one thing about Jerry Lane is he's a between the knees guy. If you can consistently hit the glove between the knees of that catcher, you're gonna get strikes, and you can stretch the strike zone on both sides of the plate. But if you set up on the outside corner and it goes across the inside corner, you're not going to get it. If it's not between the knees, you're not going to get any of it.
So here is Carlos Santana, cleanup man. He's the first baseman, but ordinarily he is the catcher for Cleveland. Santana, only 25 years old, a switch hitter. And they got him from the Dodgers in the trade that sent Casey Blake to L.A. about 3 years ago. And that steps in there for a called strike, and it's 0-1.
Good breaking ball to get him away from that fastball release. Anything to get you into the strike zone. Oftentimes changing pitches will really work wonders and give you a field, not only just that one you threw a strike with, but all your pitches.
Into the gap in left center field. That ball is on one hop against the wall. Orlando Cabrera scores. Here comes Asdrubal Cabrera. Crawford's throw is too late. A 2-run double for Carlos Santana. Those walks have become runs, and Cleveland has jumped ahead right now.
Now, this is a Cleveland team that averages about one more run a game than the Giants. And they got some hot guys in the middle of the lineup, and Santana's one of them. Just a challenge fastball, T-ball location right at the belt. And that's the problem. You walk guys ahead of power, and then you struggling with your release point. You're just trying to get something in the strike zone. It didn't have great location, and this is what happens.
So 2 runs are in. Santana's 14th double of the year, and that gives him 33 runs batted in. And here now is Shin-Soo Choo, and he takes a called strike. Choo had been an outstanding hitter for Cleveland ever since they got him out of South Korea. Hit 300 last year with 22 home runs, but he was off to a terrible start this year. But he's started to come out of it now. Choo was arrested for I guess it was a DUI, and he said that really played with his mind, and he was very ashamed. And curveball grounded right to Burris, and Choo is gone with Santana moving to third. 2 down. In the last 8 games he had been a very hot hitter. Now Austin Kearns will come up. Cleveland only has 3 lefties in its batting order tonight. You mentioned, Mike, that Sanchez has done extremely well against lefties. So they've got the platoon split going, mostly with righties in there against him, including Austin Kearns. Runner at third, 2 runs already in. Listen to how quiet it is in here. That double by Santana just really quieted the crowd down.
Killed the buzz.
Right-handers aren't necessarily hitting that well against him either, but better than the lefties. And the changeup is low, so the count is 2-0. And he's had a hard time throwing strikes to the righties. He walked the first 2 righties he faced, the Cabreras, and then Carlos Santana, another righty, blasted the double into the gap in left center. That's a called strike, and it's 2-1. Here is Santana down the line from third. That's in there for a strike with a fastball. I have a feeling that Santana had been waiting his whole life to do something against the Giants since he was signed by the Dodgers originally and went through the Dodger farm system until he got traded. He's been waiting for this day all year. Finally going to get to play against the Giants. That's a foul deep down the left field line, but very much foul. 2-2.
The velocity on the fastball for Sanchez tonight is good. It's good. It's right around 93, and that's more fastball than we've seen him have. But just like the last 6-7 starts we've seen, he hasn't had great command with it. Yeah, Carlos Santana, he was taught to hate the Giants.
And the slider is low. It's 3-2. Now he doesn't like the Minnesota Twins and the Chicago White Sox and the Detroit Tigers, I'm supposing. But since early on, it was the Giants that he was hoping to beat. And he has put Cleveland ahead of them here 2-0. 3-2. And the breaking ball is bounced foul.
Good breaking ball. And I think he's got more confidence to throw his breaking ball in a split in a 3-2 than he does the fastball. Fastball, it just is not a consistent feel for him.
Three and 2 to Austin Kearns. 2 down. Back in right field. Aaron Rowand, and that's the inning. But Cleveland jumps ahead. 2 quick runs. Andres Torres coming up. View of the San Francisco Oakland Bay Bridge from AT&T Park. Here's the Giants batting order now, brought to you by Dodge. Never neutral. Torres leads off in center. Manny Burris at second. Pablo Sandoval at third. Aubrey Huff, the cleanup batter, at first base, hitting .378 the last 10 games. Pat Burrell left field. Aaron Rowand in right. Brandon Crawford the shortstop. Chris Stewart catching, hitting 8. Jonathan Sanchez. That's ninth, all up against Carlos Carrasco, 24-year-old from Venezuela. And Mike, as you said at the top of the telecast, he throws hard.
Got a good fastball, go 93, 96, but he can do some things with it. A 2-seam and a 4-seam grip gives him sink and cut. He's also got a slider and a changeup. If that changeup's getting over the plate, he's a rough assignment.
Strike one to Andres Torres, who sat out the last couple of days. Really, just to try and help him relax a little bit. His batting average has been plummeting in a terrible slump. Here's the bunt. And that's going to be an easy hit. Beautiful.
Well, what do you say we make it our Ford right choice? Brought to you by Ford, the right choice for California. See your California Ford dealer or visit your CaliforniaFord.com today. And for a left-handed hitter, that's called taking it with you. Bunt that ball down the right side of the infield, and this is something Bruce Bochy wants to see more of. He's had a couple of days off, and the whole 2 days were just basically to get yourself back focused and start doing those things you can do, and bunting is one of them, and that's a huge feather in his cap right there.
Well, the Giants behind by 2 runs right away. So they need base runners. And here is Torres with the bunt single. Now Manny Barras. Wow, he was way late on that one. By the time he swung, it was almost like, well, what's the point now?
Well, we talked about how hard it is to see with the glare at center field, and I don't think he saw much of that ball. He did not expect that much fastball.
Torres back to first with Santana on the bag with him. There's the field covered in shadows, but the hitter's backdrop and the scoreboard complex out there reflecting the bright sun back in the eyes of the hitter. There goes Torres. Oh, nice throw, and he's out. Tagged by Orlando Cabrera, the second baseman.
Now Lou Marson coming up, throwing an absolute dart, and it wasn't even close. An easy call for Hunter Windelstead, the second base umpire. Boy, very compact mechanics from Marson. That's a nice throw. Real high three-quarter release.
In left field, Austin Kearns, and Burris is gone. So just like that, 2 down, nobody else.
I say we check out the Cleveland defense playing behind Carrasco tonight. Kearns, Sizemore, and Chu. That's your outfield with the best arm in right field. Chu's got it, maybe the best one in all of the American League. Cabrera and Hanahan on the left side of the infield. Cabrera and Santana on the right side. And you just saw Lou Marson, the catcher, show you that he's got some skills. He'll be behind the plate calling the signs.
Pablo Sandoval. Pablo have been struggling lately. And that one snaps in there. The breaking ball for a strike from Carrasco. The Giants a half game back of Arizona at the start of the day. Arizona has won its game, and Detroit coming from behind against the Tigers to win. Ooh, way inside, almost got him. And Pablo gives the look out toward Carrasco.
He dropped some stank eye on him on a first pitch.
Now he may know him. They're both from Venezuela.
Yeah, there's something on this one. These guys do know each other.
So there's some kind of history there. 1-1 the count. And that will go out of play on the third base side. I mean, how often do we see Pablo do that? It's very unusual to see Pablo give a pitcher that kind of a look.
I know, he's the mellow panda. Come on.
Ordinarily, the ball goes in there and Pablo just says, okay, I know that probably just got away. No problem. So the two Venezuelans going head to head here. So they may have faced each other in winter ball or some such thing. We'll have to find out. Wow. That changeup got him and he lost the bat. All Cleveland in the first. We're going to the second. 2-0 Cleveland. back out on the field over at third base. Somewhere it seemed like Pablo and Carlos Carrasco have met before, maybe faced each other before. Strike one to Lou Marson, who made a very impressive throw to nail Andres Torres trying to steal. Marson with a check swing.
Yeah, I got to believe there's something on the game here, a little extra special between Sandoval and Carrasco. Sandoval came back to the Giants dugout. He was talking to Hensley Mullins.
Changeup, and he swung. 1-2.
Because I think Hensley Mullins and everybody else on the Giants bench wanted to know what the deal was. And he let them know, yeah, we got history.
One ball and two strikes to Marson. Jack Hanahan on deck. Fastball too high.
There's Pablo coming back to the bench. See, I told you he was going to come at me. Yep. Yeah, I don't like him.
Well, then nobody in San Francisco likes him either. Pablo doesn't like him. Nobody likes him, I can guarantee you.
Yeah, you don't want to come into this neck of the woods and mess with the Panda. That's not a good thing.
Second strikeout for Jonathan Sanchez. Marson goes down, and here is the former Oakland Athletics player, Jack Hanahan. Hanahan been around a while, 31 years old. Excellent defensive player at third, but has never hit well. Hitting only .218 right here, but he's actually, oddly enough, hit pretty well against left-handed pitching so far. One ball and no strikes. A lot of wind, hard wind blowing out toward left field. That fastball in for a strike. Interleague play, the National League the last 2-3 days has really started to turn it around against its American League brethren in interleague play.
Did not start out good.
Well, just a few days ago, I think the count was American League 50 wins, National League 34. But at the start of today's action, it was down to 66-60 American League. And there have been 3 National League victories already tonight, including the Pittsburgh Pirates beating the Boston Red Sox at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. Paul Maholm got the best of John Lester. The Red Sox have lost 3 in a row to National League teams now.
That puts the Pirates over 500.
The strikeout for Sanchez. 2 down.
Well, 4th of July is only 2 weeks away, and you can spend Monday the 4th right here at the ballpark and see the Giants take on the Padres for a special 2 p.m. start. The 4-game series will continue Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, with all 3 of those games being night games starting at 7:15. So plan now. Get your seats. Go to sfgiants.com. And while you're at it, get some Mets tickets too.
The 2 final series leading into the All-Star break. There's a strike to Carlos Carrasco. Carrasco at bat for the first time ever as a major leaguer. On the outside corner, strike 2. Sanchez has been a strike thrower in this inning. 2 strikeouts. And here is the 0-2 pitch. And he strikes out the side. 2-0 Cleveland. Aubrey Huff coming up.
Happen too often, but it does remind us of one of the most iconic moments in all of baseball. We flash back, way back to the 1954 World Series in the spacious center field at the Polo Grounds. That famous catch, Willie Mays over the shoulder, robbing Vic Wertz of a base hit. The Giants swept the Indians in that series, winning the World Series. Now, many people think that's the greatest catch in baseball history. Many people, except for Willie Mays himself. You ask Willie, hey, was that your greatest catch? He'll say, nah, not at all. I've had many others. Guys, back up to you.
Willie says that the thing he was most proud of about that, because he thought he was going to catch it all the way, that he'd made other catches like that at the Polo Grounds. As Aubrey Huff takes the backdoor curveball that misses, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. But he was proud of, though, there was a runner at second, and often a runner at second, because it was so deep to center, would tag up and score all the way from second on a deep fly ball. Willie made that throw that you saw him turn around right after he caught it and get that throw in, and that kept that runner from even trying to score as Huff grounds out. And that throw, they say, was one of the greatest throws anybody had ever seen. It was all the way into home plate on a bounce. Willie Mays, 660 home runs, one of the greatest ever to play the game. There really wasn't anything on the field that he could not do. The running, the defense, the power, the speed, the batting average. Here's Pat Burrell. 1 ball and no strikes. But when you see that play, and every once in a while we'll show it. Yeah, Willie Mays, 2 of his former homes, Candlestick Park and Cooperstown, in which he has a permanent residence at the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Pat Burrell, 6 home runs, 17 batted in. 1 out, nobody on. Carrasco on the mound. 2-1.
Kind of dropped his angle down right there. Got underneath that delivery, pushed it, lost it.
Had a pretty good swing at that one, back over the screen into the crowd.
Carlos Carrasco and Pat Burrell spent some time together in the Phillies system. Burrell, of course, the big league level. Carrasco in the minor leagues. But Carrasco, he was minor league pitcher of the year for Phillies. Won the Paul Owens Award. Really had a nice career in the minor leagues Philadelphia system.
Carrasco and his battery mate Lou Marson were both acquired in that Cliff Lee trade from the Phillies. There's Aaron Rowand.
Well, Carrasco was the one name that was holding up the deal. The Phillies did not want to let him go. Reluctantly, they did. See how much they revered him. He's earned that respect.
Back of third, Hanahan. Now it's Asdrubal Cabrera, and he just does hang on to that one. Out number 2. Well, we're talking about the 54 World Series. The Giants won Game 1 against Cleveland. Dusty Rhodes came up as a pinch hitter, and this was a walk-off home run. You see the second baseman going. It was a pop-up.
What a great ballpark.
It was 257 feet to the right field foul pole of the Polo Grounds, and the upper deck overhung the field, and that one hit off the upper deck. You don't see many game-winning home runs, and the second baseman is actually a guy who might have caught it if it stayed in play. Aaron Rowand is gone on 1 pitch. The Giants go down in order. On to the 3rd inning. Inning number 3, top of the order for the Cleveland Indians, who lead the Giants 2-0, and that one is just a little bit low. Grady Sizemore struck out his first time. .234 average, 7 homers, 20 batted in. Sizemore has played in 42 of the first 73 Cleveland games this year.
Jonathan Sanchez thought that pitch was a strike. He went and took a long walk.
Manny Burris, and Sizemore is out number 1.
Well, the Giants have added a new line to the replica World Series ring collection, now being sold exclusively at the Giants Dugout stores and at sfgiants.com. New pieces include a World Series ring paperweight, keychain, and an acrylic ring trophy. Each piece is designed to replicate the player's World Series ring. So come see this new World Series ring collection at the Giants Dugout store.
Wow, look at that one. Wind its way back in there for a called strike to Orlando Cabrera.
And you may see him do that all night long with that curveball because he's got more command of that than he does the fastball.
One hop to Pablo. 2 down.
And the beautiful thing about that breaking ball from Jonathan Sanchez is it's got downward bite and it gets ground balls when he keeps it around the knees.
Well, Sanchez has now retired 7 in a row since the Carlos Santana double. Is the beer can regatta going on tonight?
Friday night, beer can regatta. And where does it end up?
Finish line is the entrance to McCovey Cove. Asdrubal Cabrera takes a strike. He walked his first time.
I love the beer can regatta.
And a lot of them have their radios so they can keep tabs on the Giants ball game. Asdrubal Cabrera, still only 25 years old. He came along and was a big presence back in 97, or rather 2007, when they were 1 win away from beating the Red Sox and going to the World Series. They could not get that win. Red Sox won the last 3 games, and they went to the series and beat Colorado 4 games to none. Pablo in the dirt, scooped out on a bounce by Aubrey Huff. Toyota is the most fuel efficient full line auto manufacturer, period. The most games with 12 plus strikeouts and no runs allowed since 2007. Tim Lincecum on the top of that list with 5. Felix Hernandez, Jake Peavy, Justin Verlander, all American leaguers, 2 apiece in that time. Lincecum yesterday 7 shutout innings, 12 strikeouts. And as you pointed out after the game yesterday, Mike, all 12 strikeouts swinging strike threes. Crawford with a foul. 0-2 the count.
It just tells you that his specialty pitches, and he's got 3 of them, the curveball, the slider, and the split, were all dropping out of the strike zone, because what the Minnesota Twins ended up swinging at were pitches that were not in the zone, and they were missing them. There's his Cy Young Award.
Hanahan, 1 away.
Giants baseball is brought to you by Carl's Jr., introducing the under 500-calorie charbroiled turkey burgers. They don't taste healthy, and that, my friends, is just the way it is. New at Carl's Jr.
Looks like we got some people about to cross the finish line out there. Maybe is that one, maybe 1 or 2 already finished. Chris Stewart pulls a foul. Yep, up into the seats. And a souvenir for an orange-clad Giants fan on Orange Friday. Day game tomorrow, and then the Sunday game will start at 5:05. That high slider in there for a strike, and it's 0-2. Carrasco's been 0-1, 0-2 in just about everybody so far. Tomorrow, 10 after 1, Justin Masterson for Cleveland against Matt Cain. One and two. And then Madison Bumgarner for the Giants on Sunday at 5:05 up against Fausto Carmona. After which it'll be off to Chicago and Detroit. And almost like a little cutter on the outside for strike 3 swinging.
Let's take a look at our Giants defensive coverage, brought to you by Verizon Wireless, the fastest 4G network in America. And Ben Revere tried to steal off of Chris Stewart yesterday, and he said, I don't think so. Look at this delivery, 1.7 seconds. And that's got to be the fastest time in the major leagues this year. And that from a 6'4" catcher. A remarkable throw.
Jonathan Sanchez now. And that sinker at the knees for a strike. First Giant of the game, Andres Torres beat out a bunt for a hit, but nobody else has reached against Carrasco. 1-1.
Well, of the first 9 guys he's faced, he's gotten strike 1 8 times. And that is a formula for success.
There is Santana. And the Giants are gone just like that. Carrasco has thrown 30 pitches in 3 innings.
A Giants legend, but a Cleveland Indians legend. We're talking about our good friend Dwayne Kuiper. 12 seasons in Major League Baseball, 8 of those 12 in an Indians uniform. And in those 12 years, he had 1 career home run. And here it is, 1977, off Steve Stone of the Chicago White Sox at the old Municipal Stadium. And that's his one and only home run. Pretty good stuff on Monday Night Baseball, so the entire nation might have been watching this. And what did Dwayne Kuiper do with that ball? Well, he has it safely tucked away at his home. Guys, let's send it back up to you. It's not how many you hit. It's just the fact that you at least hit one.
Well, he's got the chair that it hit in the bleachers. It's in his attic right now. And he did have a good trot, I got to admit.
Dwayne Kuiper hit .292 as a rookie back in 1975. And a guy who came up with him as a rookie that same year is in the booth right next door to us in the visiting telecast going back to Cleveland. That's Rick Manning. And in fact, the two got together before the game talking about old times with Dave Fleming. I think. And there they were as teammates back in the day.
Kuiper had to go about 170, maybe, with his uni on.
Manning was a center fielder, and he was one of the best defensive center fielders in the American League at that time.
Well, Dwayne Kuiper, I mean, he led the American League in fielding percentage every year at second base. I mean, he was fantastic around the bag, good set of hands. It's great to be around those two guys when they start talking about the days in Cleveland. There's Rick Manning. Arch.
Jonathan Sanchez facing the cleanup man, Carlos Santana, who has knocked in the only runs of the game. He had a 2-run double back in the first inning after a couple of Sanchez walks. It knocked both of those walks home. 2-0 Cleveland. Still ahead by virtue of that double. Sanchez has retired everybody since. And that curve is a foul hit very softly to the left. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And he struck him out. When you're talking about Dwayne Kuiper playing defense, he's an outstanding defensive second baseman. Let's take a look. Wow. That first one, he flipped it to the shortstop who made the play.
And there was nobody on base when he did it. And he could bunt.
What?
Smoothie.
Who was that umpire? Was that Bill Haller?
It could have been. There's our distinguished partner.
Shin-Soo Choo at the plate. He grounded out to second his first time.
Well, I do know this. I always enjoyed it when I was pitching and he was playing behind me. Because if a ball got hit to the right side of the infield, I was figuring it was going to get caught.
Good low fastball. Sanchez has really settled in. And that fastball suddenly has become a weapon for him.
And I think it's the curveball that sort of brought that fastball release into something he can command.
Oh. Just as we say, that one got away from him. And Choo is down.
Got him in the hand. That's when you're afraid to take your glove off.
Cleveland trainer.
They pull the rubber glove out. There's blood. Ball just took off right at him. They got him on the right wrist. It may have ricocheted into his left hand.
He's up on his feet now. Well, he's heading over to first base. Sandy Alomar, the former Cleveland catcher, was a perennial all-star for many years. Now the first base coach for Cleveland. Manny Acta, the manager, comes out and they cut that batting glove off. Well, now he's heading for the dugout.
That's one guy they cannot lose in Cleveland. And as you pointed out earlier in the broadcast, he's just starting to get really hot. But anytime you see a guy take a fastball in the 90s on the hand, you always hold your breath. There's so many little bones can get broken. Now the way he went down and stayed down, you knew it was bad.
Shelley Duncan goes over to first base, and he will act as the pinch runner for Shin-Soo Choo. And as soon as we get a report on Chu's condition, we'll pass it along to him. We hope for the best. Austin Kearns now. 1 ball and no strikes, a check swing. Well, we were just remarking about how Sanchez seemed to get that fastball under control and was using it to good effect, keeping it down in the zone, and just then one got away from him.
Well, we talked about how difficult it is to hit off of Jonathan Sanchez if you're a left-handed hitter. Lefty's hit just 179 against him, and I think a big part of it is he's got that effective wildness. He got a little hair up his nose, and that fastball will go anywhere.
That ball is blasted down the left field line. It is a foul. Hit that 339 marker, which is on the foul side of the line.
That was a loud strike right there.
Orlando Cabrera, and it looked like he's wondering if maybe it was the thumbnail.
No, a thumbnail could have been torn off. I mean, if that's the case, that's Indians are psyched about that. That's usually a 1 or 2 dayer.
Extremely painful.
Plus, you know, if that happens to you, you wind up telling the guy who did it to you everything you know.
I saw those movies.
Take his thumbnail. I'll tell you what you want to know, pal.
2-1 to Austin Kearns. Lou Marson on deck. On the inside with a fastball. 2-2.
You just get more fastball than you see. You know, you're looking at 90, 91, and that does not impress big league hitters. That's average fastball. But off of the low 3/4 lazy arm delivery of Sanchez, it's explosive, and it just gets on him quick. Right-handers, I mean, we're so accustomed to seeing righties take their at-bats the first time through against Jonathan Sanchez and hit a lot of foul balls to the right side. But with Sanchez, it stays that way. I mean, through the whole game, even the guys third at-bats against him, they're late on the fastball. And it's just because of how deceptive his delivery is. That was nasty.
2 down.
Strikeout number 6 for Sanchez. Just a late breaking ball. It just bottomed out right there below the strike zone. And Kearns a victim. I mean, since the hit from Carlos Santana that put 2 runs on the board for Cleveland, they haven't sniffed a hit or anything close to it.
Marson called out on strikes his first time. 2 down, runner at first. You see how the Giants are playing it. Pretty much straight away in the outfield. Burl in left, Torres in center, Rowan in right. And it is 2-0. Meanwhile, in Chicago on the south side, the Washington Nationals, under the acting manager John McLaren, who took over at least for the weekend, I guess, until they decide who's going to become the interim manager after Jim Riggleman resigned after yesterday's game. They took a 3-0 lead into the last of the ninth inning. And the White Sox, against the young closer out of Stanford, Drew Storen, have tied that game. Mark Teahan hit a 3-run homer against Storen to tie up that game.
Wow. Lots of rumors flying around Washington right now as to who the new manager might be.
Well, there's ball 4 to Marson. So a hit batsman. Duncan, the pinch runner, goes to second. Now a walk to Marson. He goes to first. Cleveland only has one hit. That one hit, though, came after 2 walks and knocked in 2 runs. Dave Righetti out to talk to Jonathan Sanchez.
Well, right now it's time for Xfinity Future Focus, where we take an in-depth look at some of the Giant stars of tomorrow. We're going to take a look at Gary Brown, first-round pick in last year's draft. He's been at San Jose this year, named to the 2011 All-Star Futures game, which will be played Sunday in All-Star Weekend in Arizona. 68 games, hitting .326, 33 stolen bags, 6 home runs, and 47 RBIs. He is tearing it up. Xfinity Future Focus is brought to you by Xfinity. TV, internet, and voice reinvented.
Jack Hanahan, 2 on, 2 out. A little bit high for ball 1. Hanahan struck out his first time. Sanchez 6 strikeouts in 3 2/3 innings. Only 1 hit allowed. Yet he's trailing 2-0. That's a strike on the outside at the knees. Yeah, Davey Johnson apparently has been under contract to the Nationals, to the general manager, or the ownership, whoever it was, as a consultant. That's up the middle, and Burris cannot stop it. That will get a run home. Torres couldn't handle it either. Shelley Duncan scores. That bouncer that somehow made it by Manny Burris, and it is 3-0 Cleveland.
And that's when your plays, if you're a middle infielder, you almost say, I'm not even worried about the throw. I just don't want it to get into center field. Just under his glove. Frustrating for Emmanuel Burris. And I'm sure for Jonathan Sanchez as well.
Well, every time Sanchez has started giving away base runners, Cleveland follows it up with a hit. As Carrasco with a wild swing for strike 1. 2 walks to the Cabreras in the first, followed by Santana's 2-run double. Now a hit batsman and a walk, and then Hanahan with the single for an RBI. Burris right near the bag, steps on second for the force out on Hanahan. His side is retired, but a run added. 3-0 Cleveland. orange and black. Check out pregame live and postgame live before and after every Giants telecast on Comcast Sportsnet. Authentic Bay Area sports. One of the tour boats in McCovey Cove. This is a regular stop on a bay cruise or a dinner while you cruise the bay at sunset. Andres Torres leads off against Carrasco. The Giants have only one hit. That was by Torres. A drag bunt single leading off in the first inning. Shelley Duncan stays in to play left field with Austin Kearns moving from left to right. After Chu had to leave the game after being hit by a pitch. That's a called strike, knee high on the inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Manny Barras on deck. Pablo Sandoval due up third.
That's a good changeup. That's as good a changeup off of a fastball with similar arm action as we've seen. I mean, it's identical to the fastball. It's so deceptive. Nobody's been able to wait back on it. You see Andres Torres reaching there way out front.
Another changeup off the outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Giants down by 3 now. So they need some base runners here. They've only had 1 so far in 3 innings against Carrasco. And there's that changeup. Ends up down out of the strike zone. An appeal to Brian Knight denied.
Well, that's a great pitch and a great take. Not an easy take either. That's the thing about that changeup. It's got some movement that just dies. It's got some gravity behind it. If you're sitting in a 2-2 count, that's not an easy pitch to take.
Foul ball right by Roberto Kelly. Still 3-2.
George Meyer, our first base ball due tonight. And that's Jacques Lish over at third base. He wants some action.
And he's just staying with the off-speed stuff here. And again, Torres able to fight it off, just making contact to foul it. Jose Bautista's hit his 23rd home run of the year for the Toronto Blue Jays. It came in the 9th inning to break a tie with the Cardinals. Right field deep, way back there, and adios, pelota, home run, Andres Torres. And that was quite an at-bat.
Well, we're going to make that the Volkswagen hit of the game, and why not? Andres Torres has been a one-man Wolfpack tonight. 3-2, fastball, knocks it right out of here. It's brought to you by the Volkswagen Going, Gone event. Great deals are here, but not for long. Visit VWDealer.com. Home run number 3 on the year.
Now Manny Barras. Second baseman Orlando Cabrera, and Barras is promptly retired. He flied out to left his first time. Andres Torres, he fought off some tough pitches. As you say, he had a couple of times where he took a close pitch, and almost everything was off speed until the one he hit out of the yard.
Carrasco just said, I'm not going to walk this guy. I have a 3-0 lead here, and see what you can do with it. He'll think again if he gets that situation again with Torres.
Pablo Sandoval now. He struck out his first time. Then he and Carrasco had a little hostile moment. Carrasco came way inside with one pitch. And change up off the outside. Ball 1. Three to 1. Cleveland leading. And right to Cabrera. 2 down. This was back in the first inning. Pablo batting with 2 down and nobody on.
Now, both these guys are from Venezuela. They are by the same age, so you know coming up through juniors and through winter ball, they played against each other. So they do have a little something on there.
Sinker is low to Aubrey Huff.
Hey, history is history. You play long enough, you're going to hate everybody.
Deep center, and Sizemore gets there. Giants get a run, though. Andres Torres got a hold of one on a 3-2 pitch over the Willie Mays wall. Now it's 3-1 Cleveland. On the board. They're trailing 3-1 now as Cleveland comes up here in the 5th inning. Top of the batting order for Cleveland. Brady Sizemore to lead off. Then the Cabreras will follow. Orlando and Asdrubal. Sizemore has struck out and grounded out to second. So this is his 3rd look at Jonathan Sanchez. Sizemore was 1 for 4 against Sanchez before tonight. There is Torres over toward right center. 1 away.
Well, there's a lot of excitement around the personalized brick program that is associated with the World Champions Walk here at AT&T Park. And the bricks in Willie Mays Plaza are now sold out. But don't miss out on a chance of a lifetime to forever etch your Giants loyalty in stone at the other entrances here at the ballpark. To order your personalized brick, go to sfgiants.com/brick. Willie Mays Plaza sold out.
Here's ball 1 to Orlando Cabrera, who has walked and scored a run and grounded out to 3rd. We're just checking MLB.com on the internet between innings. In the dirt for a ball, 2-0. And they are reporting that Davey Johnson will in fact become the manager of the Nationals. And they say a baseball source confirmed this to MLB.com. It will be Johnson's 5th stint as a manager. Of course, he started with the Mets back in the 80s. And for a time, he had the best team in the National League, one of the best in the majors with the Mets. He also later managed the Reds, the Orioles, and the Dodgers. He had a great record, a great winning percentage as Cabrera draws a walk. Sanchez with his 4th walk, plus he's hit a batter. Giants baseball is brought to you by Dodge, never neutral. And they look at the infield, home plate area. That's a pretty good view from our, what is it, the splash cam?
Splash cam. Up at the view level. It really is the signature camera at this ballpark.
Orlando Cabrera back to first as Asdrubal Cabrera stands in. Davey Johnson, by the way, had not managed in the big leagues. There you get the panoramic view of what the splash camera can see when he's not just focused on the pitcher and the batter. It is one of the great views. And there he is. One of the great views of any of the seats in the ballpark. Although, as Willie Mays said, when they anointed Willie Mays Plaza back 11 years ago, he said, they tell me there were a lot of beautiful views in this ballpark. He says, it's not a condominium. I don't care what kind of views it has.
He just wanted a good place to play baseball.
Yeah. And if you're down on the field, I think Bruce Bochy would agree, and all the Giants players would agree. We don't care about the views, but if you're sitting up in those stands, it's pretty nice, the whole experience. Great views of the game itself and of the fabulous Bay Area. 2-0 to Asdrubal Cabrera. Sanchez just cannot throw a strike all of a sudden. Since Grady Sizemore hit a fly ball out, Sanchez is pitch after pitch after pitch out of the strike zone.
Well, 3 of his 4 walks have been on 4 straight pitches, and he's down the count 3-0 here.
Carlos Santana, who knocked in the first 2 Cleveland runs, is on deck.
Santiago Casilla heading down to the Giants bullpen now to get greased up. Next pitch for Sanchez will be 85.
Not even close.
And it's an easy take. And Dave Righetti going to come out. Very, very frustrating for Jonathan Sanchez. And, you know, he works extremely hard to try and get into a set of mechanics that he can control, that he can rely on. And it's just he just can't do it. He just cannot consistently rely on the fastball. At times you'll see him get into it, and at times he'll be brilliant. But right now the best pitch he has in order to command it is his breaking ball. And the fastball is probably the 3rd pitch that he has a feel of the 3 pitches that he throws: the curveball, the split, and the fastball. Well, the Giants are back on NBC Bay Area Friday, July 8th at 7 p.m. against the Mets right here from AT&T Park. And all month long, May NBC Bay Area's Jessica Aguirre and Raj Mathai bring you a special series of in-depth investigative reports. Discover the Bay Area's most compelling stories weeknight at 11 on NBC Bay Area.
And the changeup for a called strike to Santana. 2 walks. The other 2 times where Sanchez got wild, those were run-scoring innings for Cleveland. The curveball is low. 1 ball, 1 strike. After he walked the 2 Cabreras in the first, Santana hit the double for 2. In the 4th inning, he hit Chu with a pitch and then walked Marson, and Hanahan got the base hit to knock in a run. 2 men on here as a result of walks. Oh, he got that fastball by him. A foul tip into the glove of Chris Stewart.
You cannot set up innings for free, and he's done it. I mean, walk 2 in the first, a hit batsman, a walk in the 4th, and 2 walks here in the 5th. I mean, that's 6 free gifts of 90 feet.
Hit softly. And he did get the out at second. Apparently never tagged Asdrubal Cabrera, but the second base umpire, Hunter Wendelstedt, rules that Asdrubal Cabrera went out of the baseline.
Yeah, I think he felt because of the speed of the ball, the best chance he had of getting the double play was to get the tag. And you can see how Cabrera, I mean, he might have an argument because he can still slide and touch the base. But nobody voiced any beef, and that included Manny Acta. But that was almost disaster for Burris and the Giants.
Well, and he had Crawford at second base. He could have just fed the ball to Crawford. So here now is Shelley Duncan, the son of St. Louis Cardinals pitching coach Dave Duncan. Shelley, who had been with the Yankees for a while, now with Cleveland. This is his first plate appearance. Runners at first and third, and the count is 2-0. That one missed very badly. Cabrera, Orlando at third, Santana at first. There's Cabrera, there's Santana with Huff on the bag with him. You see how the Giants are set up straight up in the outfield. Second baseman Burris playing into pull. Change up on the outside, and it's 2-1.
2-0 split. Nice pitch. And that is his changeup, and that is a pitch I feel he has more control of, just like the curveball, than the fastball.
2-1. And the changeup misses very badly. The runner from third, Orlando Cabrera, was trying to distract Sanchez as he came down the line from third.
I think he did. And I think Jonathan Sanchez is one ball away from being out of this ball game.
Austin Kearns, a right-handed hitter, on deck. Well, that was not close either, and the bases are loaded with walks, and he is on his way out. 5 walks, 6 walks now, plus a hit batsman. So the Giants are going to the bullpen in the 5th inning. So Casilla coming in.
Kurt Busch, the NASCAR driver, but ironically, he was a little late to the ballpark, stuck in traffic, wouldn't you know, from Sonoma. Kurt Busch and all the NASCAR guys are in wine country this weekend for the big race in Sonoma on Sunday. Kurt Busch all ready to go, and I think we'll let the cat out of the bag here. We believe he's actually a Cubs fan, but we'll let him go tonight, sitting in Giants territory. Guys, back up to you.
Well, he's a baseball fan. And
Close
like
enough.
That.
Close enough.
Yeah, close enough. Amen.
Welcome to Kurt Busch. So the bases are loaded here with Austin Kearns coming up against Santiago Casilla. We may have reached a crossroads here. Jonathan Sanchez, 94 pitches, almost as many of them out of the strike zone as in. 49 strikes, 45 out of the strike zone. 6 walks plus a hit batsman. When he was in the strike zone, he was pretty tough to hit, only allowed 2 hits.
And so it goes. I mean, that's the enigma that is Jonathan Sanchez. If he could ever get command, I mean, he'd be one of the premier arms of the game, but it has just eluded him, and you can imagine the frustration he feels because he knows what he's capable of. We all do.
So the 3 runners there, Orlando Cabrera, Carlos Santana, Shelley Duncan from third back to first. And the first pitch strike to Austin Kearns.
I mean, this is a big at bat in this ball game. Giants are in this game 3-1, but make a mistake here, and Austin Kearns, who's got good power, runs into one, and all of a sudden you got big space between the lead.
Sinking into the dirt, scooped out by Chris Stewart. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bases loaded. Giants pretty much straight away in the outfield. You see Aaron Rohde out in right field trying to cover that gap toward the 421 marker as Sanchez looks on from the dugout. An early exit, only 4 2/3 innings for the Giants starter. But still, the score at present is only 3-1 Cleveland. Casilla trying to keep it right there. 1-2.
Man, that's the one you fear. Guys like Kearns, I mean, they like to get something up that they can elevate on contact, and that was out over the plate. And after he missed that one, he knew he had a pretty good pitch to hit location-wise. He took a little walk. I don't blame him. Now Casilla's in the driver's seat ahead to count 1-2.
Cabrera, Santana, Duncan getting their leads. And that slider topped foul. Still 1-2. Ronaldo Cabrera with 1 out, nobody on, drew a walk to get this started. Then Asdrubal Cabrera drew a walk. Shelley Duncan also got a walk. Bases loaded. Asdrubal Cabrera ended up being forced out by Santana, so it's Santana at second. 1-2. And that was a big curve that hung up in the zone but bounced foul. See some of the scores out there. The hand operated out of town scoreboard, including a win for Arizona and Detroit. Detroit had led 6-3, and Arizona came back to win it 7-6. Colorado, back to Ubaldo Jimenez, beat the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. Arizona's won 4 in a row on the road. Struck him out. Big moment for the Giants, still trailing only 3-1. Dealers and the all-new 2012 Civic, loaded with technology and delivering up to 44 miles per gallon. For details, visit shophonda.com. Pirates over the Red Sox in Pittsburgh. Mahalam over Leicester. Arizona with his come-from-behind victory over Detroit. Oakland lost at Philadelphia. A run in the bottom of the 9th inning beat the Athletics. And Baltimore in 12 over Cincinnati at Camden Yards. Here, the Giants trailing Cleveland 3-1. Last of the 5th. Pat Burrell leads off against Carlos Carrasco. And ball 1 too low. Burrell popped up to short his first time. Each team with 2 hits, but all of the walks have helped Cleveland turn their 2 hits into 3 runs. And that's right in there for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to Burrell.
I'm impressed with the movement on Carlos Carrasco's fastball. He's done a really nice job of throwing both the 2-seam and 4-seam fastball.
Right in there again. 1-2.
It's not uncommon for guys to come up now out of the minor leagues and have a good understanding of the fastball, and usually that's something that takes you a few years to learn. Carrasco, 24 years old, does not pitch like it.
Center field. Sizemore squares up a little shy of the track. 1 away. Some other scores. Colorado back of Ubaldo Jimenez. A win at Yankee Stadium. And the former Yankee, Jason Giambi, had a home run in that game. 3 for 4. Tampa Bay beat Houston. It was Texas over the Mets 8-1 in Arlington. Beltre, a home run. And Milwaukee beat Minnesota 4-3. The Minnesota-Wisconsin border war, they call it. And there's a called strike. And it's always a lot of fun, apparently, when they meet, because when they're at Miller Park in Milwaukee, a lot of fans come over from Minnesota to root on the Twins and vice versa when they meet in Minneapolis. 0-2 to Aaron Rowan, who popped up to first his first time. Three to 1 Cleveland is Pat Burrell back in the dugout. He ended up not quite squaring it up there after getting behind in the count. And Rowan never does make contact. 2 down. Some other scores. Cubs beat Kansas City in interleague play. Starlin Castro, a 3-hit game. Toronto on the home run by Bautista in the 9th inning beat the St. Louis Cardinals 5-4. Washington last of the 10th in a tie with the White Sox. They've blown 2 leads, one in the 9th inning and another in the 10th inning. And San Diego is leading Atlanta 2-0. Last of the 6th down at Petco Park. That's the National League game going on. Brandon Crawford grounded to third his first time. 1 ball and no strikes. Also, the Dodgers lead the Angels 2-1 at the end of 4 in LA. Matt Kemp, his 21st home run. Asdrubal Cabrera. And a very quiet inning for the Giants. 3-1 Cleveland as we head to the 6th inning.
Xfinity Game Vision. Remember, with Xfinity Game Vision, you too can control the action at home, controlling the video using play, pause, fast forward, and rewind. And this was out number 27 yesterday. Pablo Sandoval runs down Michael Kadire, and he turns into the Flying Panda One more look at the Flying Panda. Xfinity Game Vision is powered by Xfinity TV with On Demand, the only place you can catch complete replays of every Giants game all season long. Just tune to Channel 1.
It was kind of a surprise ending to the game yesterday. And it started out as just a ground ball to third, and you're ready to say picks it up, throws. No, he's not throwing it.
Well, I don't think he really knew how fast Kadire was. And he just did get him.
Somehow I have a feeling, just as he was tagging him, saying, I'm never doing this again.
Yep, I think that's exactly what he said. Good breaking ball.
Lou Marson, the hitter. He has struck out and walked in this game. And that walk set up Cleveland's third run. Earlier, Shin Soo Choo had been hit by a pitch. Duncan wanted to run for him. With two down, Marson walked, moving Duncan to second, and then Hanahan singled him home. There it is again. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That one a foul tip into Stewart's glove. That guy's got a whole group with him.
Oh, yeah. They have been to the Build-A-Bear. Yep. Build-A-Bear Workshop out in left center. Big hit.
Marson out number 1 here in the 6th. Giants baseball is brought to you by Toyota. Toyota is the most fuel efficient full line auto manufacturer, period. One out, nobody on here from AT&T Park. I'm John Miller with Mike Krukow, your Giants telecasters. You want to just do radio tomorrow?
Yeah, what do you say we just do radio the next couple of days?
Okay, tomorrow and Sunday. Hanahan has struck out, but he got that base hit that just barely made it past the dive of Manny Burris in the 4th inning, and that knocked in Cleveland's third run. They've only had 2 hits, but both of them came with men on base, and both delivered a run. And I guess that's not too surprising if you're a Cleveland fan, because they have hit well in the clutch as a team all year. That curveball, a beauty, in for a strike.
Nice feel with that pitch right now, John. He's got 2 different types of breaking balls, the curveball and the slider. And in essence, he's got 2 different fastballs, the 2-seam and the 4-seam, and he'll use all of them like they're separate pitches.
And that's fouled away with a fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Hanahan. The pitcher, Carrasco, on deck. Cleveland as a team this year hitting only .251. Nothing special about that. They've had a hard time overall scoring runs. .251 team average, but you put a runner at second or third or both, their batting average .275. Suddenly they're one of the best hitting teams in baseball. So whether it's just a coincidence or whether they just have a bunch of guys who elevate their game in those pressure situations, it's worked out nicely for Cleveland. It has them in first place in the American League Central Division. Manny Acta, former manager of the Washington Nationals, who found themselves in the market for a manager again after Jim Riggleman resigned after the Nationals won their game yesterday. Ooh, strike 3 call on the inside.
Just took the bat right out of Hanahan's hands. I mean, you can't run a fastball up there and place it any better than this, right on the inside corner. We talked earlier about when you stretch your target, you go to a corner, if your pitcher can hit that catcher right between the knees, you will get that strike with Jerry Lane, and that was clear-cut case. I'm not sure if it actually went across the plate, but sounded pretty good.
Jerry thought it was a strike. Who are we to disagree? Carrasco is gone on 1 pitch. Quick inning for Garcia.
Standing by a score of 3-1. Welcome back to the ballpark. The Indians have altered their uniforms just a bit to honor the late, great Bob Feller. The Hall of Fame pitcher passed away last December at the age of 92. Now, Feller broke into the major leagues at the age of 17 with a powerful right arm. They said, Bob, how'd you get such a strong arm? He said, well, I'm a farm boy from Iowa. I used to bale hay, pick corn, and milk cows. That's how I got it. Gentlemen, up to you.
Yep, that's how I got my strong arm, too.
It's Bob Feller, who signed right out of high school. In fact, after his first year in the big league, he never went to the minor leagues. Came out of high school, went right to the big leagues, and then had to go back for his senior year of high school after this first season. Base hit for Stewart, leading off the sixth inning for the Giants. Nate Scherholtz coming up to pinch hit. Bob Feller, great Hall of Famer. The only man ever to pitch a no-hitter on opening day. Rapid Robert, he was a hard sore. Then the day after Pearl Harbor, he went right down and enlisted in the Navy. And spent World War II, most of it on a ship and in the South Pacific. Here is Nate Scherholtz. A great player, a great American hero. Bob Feller, a swinging strike. And I will forever cherish the time I was able to spend with Bob, whom I had known for many years, at Baseball's Hall of Fame last July. They had a party at the Hall of Fame itself, and I got to sit with Bob and his wife for about 30 minutes or so. I introduced him to my family and had him tell some stories about the way it was. And they get nobody. Santana, ordinarily the catcher. And a poor throw to Asdrubal Cabrera, who could not handle it. Everybody is safe.
Yeah, he did not have his feet really balanced underneath it when he made the throw. Comes off the bag. It's a high hop. He goes up to get it. When he comes down, he never really looked right. Threw off his right foot, and he pulled it down low away from Cabrera. And the off-balance throw creates an error and an opportunity. And the Giants, who've given these Cleveland Indians 7 free gifts of 90 feet, finally get one back in return.
Now, if Asdrubal Cabrera was a first baseman, you would have said, man, he should have caught that ball. But he was, I guess, a little surprised at how low and wide that throw was. But it will be scored as an error on the first baseman, Santana. So here's Torres. 2 men on, nobody out. And the look, Stewart going back to second.
I mean, that really would have been a good play if Cabrera would have been able to come across his body. I mean, but think about it. His momentum's coming to the bag. He raises his hand up with the glove, and he gives a high target. He wants it on, chest high. Now it goes down by his right foot. That's a tough one to come back to.
Torres, who homered his last time, fouls this one out of play in the third base side. Torres is 2 for 2 in the game. Here's the home run.
He worked the count to a 3-2, and he really, I mean, it was a great at bat once he hit the 3-2 home run, but it was a great at bat just as to how he got to the 3-2 count. It's one of the best at bats we've seen any Giant have in a while.
Torres, a bunt single in the first, the home run in the fourth. 2 of the Giants' 3 hits up till now against Carrasco. Another base hit. Stewart went back to make sure it wasn't caught. Now he goes to third, and the bases are loaded with nobody out.
And that's how you take advantage of an error. And the 2 days that Andres Torres sat on the bench and was out of the lineup have served him well. He is swinging the bat great tonight. Great focus. Here he goes with a pretty good pitch. This is not a hanger. He goes on the outside part of the plate and beats a sinker that had movement running away from him. It's the beauty of having a big bat. He uses the biggest bat of the team. But you're taught to freeze on a line drive, so Stewart doing what you're taught to do. No chance to score.
And I don't think they would have been able to double him up if Asdrubal Cabrera had been able to catch that line drive. Bases loaded, nobody out. Manny Burris, a base hit to the outfield, could tie the score. Burris is 0 for 2. Way outside. This is the first time that Carrasco has really been under duress in this game. He had only worked out of the stretch for a brief time at just a few pitches in the first inning before Andres Torres, who had bunted for a hit, was thrown out trying to steal. Stewart breaking for the plate, and everybody is safe. Stewart scores. And more misadventures in the infield for Cleveland's regular catcher, Carlos Santana, as a first baseman. 3-2 Cleveland.
Now, when you play a guy out of position and move a catcher to first base, you hope that everything he gets is to him and he doesn't have to come in. This is really, I think, the hardest play, especially with a play right in front of him, because it distracts him. And when you're not used to playing a position, distraction usually means you're not going to center cut that ball in your glove, and that means errors.
Cleveland's pitching coach, Tim Belcher, out to the mound now to talk to Carrasco, young right-hander. You'd have to forgive me, he's a little rattled right now.
Well, I think all Belcher's going to come out there and tell him is, listen, you're doing everything right. You just keep making the pitches you're making. You're getting ground balls. They're not squaring you up. Focus on being in command of the knee-high location, and you let your stuff and your movement help you out. I mean, you just don't want to reinforce a negative. He's seen it twice already. I do know one thing. If a ball gets hit to first base, hold your breath, because Santana cannot have much confidence.
Pablo Sandoval, bases loaded, nobody out. No RBI for Burris, as obviously Santana was going to go home with the throw for the force out. 3 men on, nobody out. Giants down by a run. Tries to backdoor him with the curve and misses. 1 ball, no strikes. The Giants with Sherholtz at third, Andres Torres at second, and Manny Burris at first. 3 of their fastest runners are the base runners here. Deep and foul down the left field line.
Well, that's what you want to do with the sink that runs away from the lefty. As that ball gets up, it starts to fade, so the movement will run flat away from Sandoval. You run into a problem when you try and pull that pitch. Stay inside it, go to left field. That's how you beat it. Good swing.
This is only the second time this year Pablo has come to bat with the bases loaded. A ball and a strike. Inside with a fastball. 2-1. The middle infielders for Cleveland are at double play depth, pulled in a little bit, so they'd concede the tying run here to get the double play. They're really worried about the Giants putting together a big inning here. The cleanup hitter, Aubrey Huff, on deck. And he golfs that one foul. The changeup down around his shoe tops. 2-2. Here's Huff, awaiting his turn on deck. Pablo at the plate, 2-2 as he faces his fellow countryman Carrasco in a big spot in the game. Sherholtz, Torres, and Burris from third back to first get their leads. Out toward Death Valley. Plenty deep enough for Sherholtz to score. Everybody tagging up. The throw goes into second base. This game is tied as Sherholtz scores, and Torres goes to third. Burris went back to first. Sacrifice fly for Pablo Sandoval.
Excellent at bat. They're trying to get the ground ball early. When they get to a 2-strike, they start going for the strikeout. Misses outside of the breaking ball, goes high with a changeup, and they pound him in. He misses there, and they get him to chase down below. And when you get to a 2-strike, look at it. The curveball, it's down. He goes down to the knees, and it golfs it out high enough in right field for it's an easy score. So not only do they get the run to score from third, but they move the runner up from second to third. Great at bat.
So 2 runs in for the Giants. Pablo Sandoval with his 16th RBI of the season and his first sacrifice fly. Here's Aubrey Huff to try and get the go-ahead run home. That's Torres at third. Burris at first. They'll have to be mindful of Burris, who has speed. And immediately they try to see if Burris might be thinking of taking off on first movement. He was not. Smith, the former Met, the side armor, up in the Cleveland bullpen. Aubrey Huff is grounded to second, flied out deep to center. And he had to step lively on that one. Almost hit him in the foot, and a nice save by Marson. Aubrey Huff has seen Carrasco before. 2 for 4 plus a walk against him before this game. Carrasco's had an economy of pitches all night, but they're working him in this inning. Now Torres will tag up at third. There's the catch. He's coming. And he will make it easily. Burris goes into second as well. Heads up base running for the Giants. It's a sacrifice pop fly. And the Giants are ahead 4-3.
And that's our Lincoln Smart move. It's not just luxury. It's smarter than that. Feel smarter at Lincoln.com. And right now, Andres Torres is the difference maker in this game. Look at the momentum. Takes Hanahan back. And that momentum allowed Torres to take advantage of it. You saw Hanahan. He had nothing on the throw. There's no way he could even get off and throw to home. So Aubrey Huff coming up with a sac fly. But really, it's Andres Torres that makes that play.
Aubrey Huff maybe telling Torres, hey, thanks, I owe you one. Instead of an out, he gets a sacrifice fly, no time at bat charge, and a run batted in. Here's Burrow. Burris also took advantage, moving up a base. And it's 0-1 to Burrow, who has popped to short and flied out to center.
It's just, you're accustomed to watching the winds push the ball. Here it takes Hanahan back, and he's in no position to get his feet to get off a throw, and it's an easy score for Torres.
Burris also moved up. Check swing by Burrow. 1 ball and 1 strike. You know who used to do that all the time? The Hall of Famer, Ricky Henderson. Many's the time that Ricky would score and a pop up to the shortstop, to the second baseman. If they would go out and take it, he was coming from third base. He knew they were headed the wrong way. But I like Manny Burris' chutzpah there also to take the extra base. And sure enough, they were not paying any attention to him. Off the outside. 2-1. 3 runs in for the Giants. What a crazy inning. Stewart led it off with a single to left. Stewart, who for the season before that at bat had 4 hits in 28 at bats. He got it started. Then an error by Santana. Torres with a single. Then another error by Santana. And a couple of sacrifice flies. Left center field. Sizemore. And the inning is over. But the Giants get 3. They've turned it over. Top of the order coming up.
You can spend Monday the 4th right here at the ballpark and see the Giants take on the Padres for a special 2 p.m. start. And the 4-game series will continue with Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night games, all starting at 7:15. So plan now. Go to sfgiants.com and get your tickets. And while you're at it, check out the Mets series.
That's the final week before the All-Star break. Jeremy Affeldt in to pitch for the Giants. And that is not the only change for the Giants here. He faces the top of the order. Sizemore, who is 0 for 3, takes ball 1. Sizemore, then the Cabreras. So Affeldt, who has had sort of 2 different seasons in these first 3 months of the year. One where he was getting lit up, walking people, and another where he has been outstanding. The new left fielder, Aaron Rowand, who moved over from right between innings, makes the grab, and Sizemore has been kept off the bases all night. Nate Scherholtz, who pinch hit for Casilla, stays in to play right field in the 9th spot in the order, and Affeldt will be slotted in the number 5 spot in the order where Pat Burrell had been. Burrell out of the game. Affeldt spot would not come up until 9th in the next run through the order. Here is Orlando Cabrera. A strike. He got the outside strike there.
One thing about Jeremy Affeldt, though, he's a pretty easy read if you're Bruce Bochy or Dave Righetti. I mean, when he's right, he's getting ground balls, he's getting strikeouts. When he's not, and he's not getting ahead of the count, he doesn't have command. He elevates the fastball, and instead of ground balls, he gets fly balls, and the curve balls got rolled to it. So, I mean, he's easy to figure out. But mechanically, when he's sound like he is right now, he's money.
And a desperation hack on that low slider, and he stays alive. Orlando Cabrera with a count of 0-2. Great work by Santiago Casilla. Remember when he came in, and you pointed out, Mike, the bases were loaded with 2 down. It might have been a crossroads in this game. Giants were already down 3-1. Austin Kearns was up. They were a base hit away from really opening it up considerably. That's a fastball in the dirt, and it is a ball and 2 strikes. But he got Kearns with a strikeout and then retired the side in order in the 6th inning. So a job done extremely well by Casilla, and the Giants have turned it around completely now. 4-3 Giants. Crawford out number 2.
And that's a Jeremy Affeldt special. Just explosive second stage movement that'll take a jump at you, and you'll see a lot of balls get hit up the bat. And it's exactly what happened to Cabrera, producing a ground ball.
Chewed out here is Asdrubal Cabrera. Both of the Cabreras have walked twice tonight. The only time the walks, the hit batsman, did not turn into runs was in the 5th inning when Casilla was able to get out of it after coming on for the beleaguered Jonathan Sanchez. Ramon Ramirez heads down to the pen. Asdrubal Cabrera, Cleveland's home run leader, is at 12. Right center. There is Scherholtz. 1, 2, 3. That might have been a big fly in Cleveland.
It was.
got as of right now. Also, a lot of smiles after yesterday's performance. Tim Lincecum, who was struggling for the last few weeks, not so much yesterday, though. Came back to his regular Cy Young form, shutting down the Twins. And Tim said he consulted with two people, his former catcher, Benji Molina, and his father, Chris Lincecum. In fact, Chris Lincecum sent me a note just a few innings ago and said he explained to Timmy worry about his torso and how the front of his body position pointing and driving down towards the dirt. In fact, sent me a long, detailed email of how he consulted Timmy how to improve his delivery. And of course, Chris Lincecum taught Timmy that unique delivery. John, will send it back up to you.
He sure did, and they worked on it long and hard since the time Tim was just a young kid. And I mean real young. Just starting Little League, or even before that. There's a ball outside to Rowan, 2-1 the count to him. He has popped to first and struck out. Last of the seventh, the Giants lead 4-3. All of the Giants' runs in that sixth inning unearned. Pablo Sandoval knocked in the go-ahead run with a sacrifice fly into right center field. And then, you know, not only that though, his sacrifice fly also moved Andres Torres over to third base.
Yeah, that was a good at bat. I mean, he didn't beat a bad pitch either. He was down the count, 2 strikes. Carrasco threw a good hard breaking ball down and in. He went down to beat it.
That's a check swing foul. 2-2. But without Andres Torres going to third base, Aubrey Huff just hits a foul ball caught by the third baseman. But with Andres at third base with his great speed, he tagged up and turned that pop up down the left field line and foul ground into a sacrifice fly. That was a hanger and pulled foul by Rowan. 2-2. Rowan, Crawford, and Stewart, the do-ups for the Giants here in the seventh.
It was interesting to watch Tim Flannery, too, as he saw that pop-up start to get no man's land, knowing that it was going to catch some drift from the wind. He was alerting Andres Torres, telling him basically, you're going to go. This is going to be a play, an opportunity for you to score, so get ready to go. That was a great job of base coaching.
It's one of the best in the business, Tim Flannery. Baseball's renaissance man. Rowan now 0 for 3. Giants baseball is brought to you by Ford, the right choice for California. See your California Ford dealer or visit yourcaliforniaford.com today. Can you spell that address out for him?
.com.
Close enough. yourcaliforniaford.com. Here is Brandon Crawford, who's 0 for 2, grounded out twice. Once to third, once to short. Giants 4 runs, 4 hits. Cleveland 3 runs, 2 hits. The runs are way ahead of the hits in this game.
Yeah, if you like hits, this is not the place to come, folks. Not tonight.
Cleveland's runs scored on the 2 hits, a 2-run double by Santana in the first, and an RBI single by Hanahan in the fourth. Those are the only hits, and those hits knocked in 3 runs. 1-2 to Crawford. The Giants got a home run by Torres, and then they scored a run on an error. They scored a run on a fly ball, and they scored a run on a pop-up in foul ground that was caught. And I suppose if you're new to the game, a lot of Giants fans became Giants fans just last year as everybody got caught up in the excitement around the Giants' run into October and finally November. That's off the outside, 3-2. But if a ball is caught in the air, you tag up the moment it hits the glove, you can take off, even if it's a foul ball. And otherwise, you really cannot score on a foul ball. Everything stops. The ball's dead, and they just pitch again. Asdrubal Cabrera. Very fluid. 2 down. Asdrubal Cabrera hit one that in Cleveland might well have been a home run. Out to right the entrance to Death Valley out there. And look at these numbers in Cleveland's home games this year. 51 home runs in 38 games. That's third most home runs in home games in the majors. On the road, and they've played 35 road games, 16 homers.
Wow. Well, he definitely got AT&T'd, because that would have been out in Cleveland.
Chris Stewart pops it up. And there is Shelley Duncan to call off Cabrera. Giants go down in order. 8th inning, Carlos Santana coming up. To you by Carl's Jr. and the under 500 calorie charbroiled turkey burgers. New at Carl's Jr. 4-3 Giants. Andres Torres has been the big hitter. Giants have 4 hits. He has 3 of them. Has knocked in a run, scored a couple of runs. Carrasco had been strong, but the Giants got through to him for 3 unearned runs in the 6th inning. They lead the game 4-3. Carlos Santana, and he really wants to do something big here. His 2 errors really open the doors for the Giants to get those 3 unearned runs in the 6th inning. He knocked in 2 in the 1st with a double to left center. Since then has struck out and grounded into a force play. One and one. The Giants bullpen will be ready if needed. After Santana, the switch hitter, you got a string of right-handed hitters. Dua, Duncan, Kearns, Marson. So Sergio Romo warming up in the Giants bullpen.
Now you talk about the 2 errors made by Santana tonight. You saw the graphic. He's only had 19 starts at first base. And it is an awful lot to ask a guy to be a full-range infielder when you go left, go right, go back, come in on a ball. It's tough. And I think the one that's most difficult is the one coming in. And he's had 2 plays where his feet have been off balance, and the play sort of took the feet out of the play, and he could not recover. 1, he couldn't make a good throw, and 2, he couldn't catch the ball. Obviously feels more comfortable in the squat behind the plate.
3-1 the count, and that's too low. Well, his first error in that 6th inning came after Stewart's leadoff single. Stewart going to second of this ground ball by Sherholtz.
And there was the errant throw. And then this is the one that had runner coming down the line, sort of distracted him. He never really got a handle on it.
That was the run that tied the game. Now Sergio Romo comes in, runner at first, nobody out in the 8th. We'll be back. base. The Giants ahead 4-3, and there is Sergio Romo on the hill, and he'll face a pinch hitter, Michael Brantley, who is going to bat for Shelley Duncan. Duncan in the game after Chu had to leave after being hit on the hand with a pitch. Brantley takes a called strike on the inside. More activity going in the Giants bullpen meanwhile. Brantley hitting .274, 5 home runs, 28 runs batted in 270 at bats. He also runs well. He's had 9 steals. Young player. He had been in the Milwaukee organization, Mike. The Cleveland team has a lot of guys acquired in deals for veteran players as they were trying to go into rebuilding mode, and he's one of them that they got in a huge deal in which CC Sabathia was sent to Milwaukee. That one could be trouble, but Burris gets there. It'll be difficult for either Torres or Sherholtz, but Burris got back quickly, and Brantley is retired, 1 away.
Javier Lopez getting greased up in the Giants pen. Well, it helps to have a middle infielder that can go back on a ball, because you're right, that ball did not have enough height on it to realistically think that Nate Sherholtz or Andres Torres could come in and get it. It was going to be Burris and Burris alone.
Austin Kearns 0 for 3, flied out and twice struck out in this game. The slider, it's 0-1.
The no dot slider, such a weapon. The normal slider has a little eye, a little spinning red eye because of the rotation of the pitch. And hitters identify it and they go after it expecting break, but his does not have that dot. It's a no dot slider, and it's a big break.
And the fastball back to the screen. It's 0-2. Kearns was up in the 5th inning with the bases loaded and 2 down. Santiago Casilla had been brought in from the bullpen to face him right at that moment. Cleveland was ahead 3-1, and the Indians were a base hit away from lengthening that lead considerably, but Casilla struck him out. End of threat. There's the pickoff throw. He's out! Stewart picks off Santana.
Now we're going to make it the ING Direct Save of the game. It's brought to you by ING Direct. Save your money, member FDIC. And this guy, folks, has got a cannon. He saw a little bit of an opening. As you saw him reach back to catch the slider, it naturally got his shoulders cocked. He went right with a move. And a swipe tag by Huff, and first base umpire Bob Davidson said, "You got him, big boy." What a cannon Chris Stewart has.
Well, the stands are just a bust. Nobody gets rid of the ball more quickly than Stewart, and then he's strong and accurate as well.
And in a one-run ball game, how big a play is this? Watch him reach across his body. That just gets him caught. Some real quick footwork. And the Giants caught a break. You see what Stewart saw, a little bit of a leak, but I think through it all, I think that he got back. I don't think they got him. Giants catch a break.
To the count to Kearns. 2 down, nobody on. Yeah, that's a full count, 3-2. Yeah, it looked like the swipe tag might have missed him and then finally hit him up on the helmet, but his hand might well have been in the bag by then.
Watch the play one more time. The ball was there in plenty of time. As to whether or not he got the helmet before that hand got the bag, that's what you're looking at.
And that's a foul along the right field line. In amongst the spectators. Still 3-2 to Austin Kearns. Lou Marson, another right-handed hitter, on deck. Cleveland still has Travis Hafner, their designated hitter, and maybe their best all-round hitter. And he's been hot lately, too. Still available on the bench. And a switch hitter named Cord Phelps available. popped up way up there. Rowan. And he had an adventure going after it, but the inning is over. Last of the 8th, Sherholtz coming up.
Friday, July 15th at 7 p.m. against the Padres. And all month long in July, NBC Bay Area's Jessica Aguirre and Raj Mathai bring you a special series of in-depth investigative reports. Discover the Bay Area's most compelling stories weeknights at 11 on NBC Bay Area.
Now the Giants coming up in the last of the 8th inning before another sellout crowd. I haven't heard the actual numbers for the night. The Giants are going to pass 1.5 million in home attendance this weekend. Nate Sherholtz against Carrasco. Ball one. Nate hit the bouncer to first baseman Santana, who made a throwing error that really got that Giants rally in the 6th inning going. Asdrubal Cabrera throws him out, and there is one away. Here now is Andres Torres, as the bearded one is getting ready for the 9th inning. Andres Torres, a couple of days off to clear his mind, work on his approach, just rest and relax a little bit. He'd been having a hard time sleeping. And he was one of those guys you read about as he hits the fly ball to center. Grady Sizemore, and that's the first time that he has been retired in this game. All of that seemed to pay off, but he's one of those. He actually was with the bat, waking up at 2 in the morning and practicing his swing in front of a mirror from 2 until maybe 6.
Well, it's an obsession. I think anybody who's played the game could say that they've been there. But Bruce Bochy recognized the symptoms, and he sat him down and said, "You need to step back a little bit. You're grinding too hard." And boy, has he had a game tonight.
Bunt single, home run, and a single in the 6th. There's the bunt by Manny Burris. Carrasco, he got bumped from behind by the third baseman, Hanahan. And the play at first backed up by Orlando Cabrera. Otherwise, Burris might still be running.
Well, a great point you make there for all the young players watching. If you're a second baseman, you have a responsibility to back up a throw if it's coming from third base to first base. Here it comes from the pitcher, and there's the bunt from Hanahan, and that ball was going to go way into right field if it wasn't for Cabrera.
So Burris gets the bunt hit.
Oh, what a nice job. Giants with 2 bunt hits tonight. One from Torres here, one from Burris, and you see Cabrera backing up the play. Nice look at that. Good hustle.
Pablo Sandoval He hit the sacrifice fly that tied the game in the 6th inning. The bases were loaded. He knocked in Sherholtz from third, but also Torres tagged up and moved over to third from where he scored on the pop fly in foul ground. That's a fair ball. It ricochets to the right fielder, Kearns. Pablo going to test him. Burris keeps coming. Pablo's out. Nice throw by Austin Kearns. It'll be a 1-run lead for Wilson into the 9th. And a former Stanford star, Cord Phelps, the pinch hitter, takes a strike. Batting for Marson. The left-handed hitting Hanahan on deck.
Almost got him in the leg.
Cord Phelps finished his 3-year Stanford career with a .307 batting average. 91 RBIs, hit 13 home runs in his junior year, drove in 58 for a team that won the College World Series. He bounces a foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He hit .351 that year. Got the most improved player award. Cord Phelps.
You see Travis Hafner starting to get ready.
He struck him out. 1 away.
Little cutter on the back door. They set a wide target, and Phelps goes chasing. Always a good feeling if you're relieving and you're trying to close out a ball game to get that first strike and that first out. Grab some pine meat.
Now Hanahan. Wilson got the save here yesterday afternoon and the night before as well. That misses. 1 ball, no strikes. There is Hafner out on deck. He's hitting .338 and had missed a good portion of the year with injury, but is back now and had been hitting real well. That is a strike with a cutter, and the count 1-1.
Well, his command of that cutter has been razor sharp tonight. And Bruce Bochy will tell you, the more work you give Wilson, the better command he gets.
Well, you may recall before he appeared in the Wednesday night game against the Twins, he had not pitched in a week. And he struggled a little bit in that game, but finally put it back together. Did not strike out a hitter, though. Had a couple of base runners on. Just off the outside. So it's a 3-1 count with Hafner lurking on deck. Right to Burris. 2 down. But Cleveland still has one card left to play off the bench, and it's the best card Manny Acta has. He'll be his best all-round hitter right now, Travis Hafner, who's been missing a lot from Cleveland's lineup the past 3 years with injury. The guy who's hit as many as 42 home runs and had as many as 117 RBIs in a season, hitting .338 so far this year. He's only been in 37 games. Very dangerous. Big and strong. Ball 1. Prunk. His nickname is Prunk.
He kind of looks like a prunk.
Whatever that is. That one, the cutter, snaps in there for a called strike. Hafner facing Brian Wilson for the first time. 4-3 Giants in the 9th. 2 down, nobody on. Got the knee-high strike. 1 and 2. That strike had been there basically all night long.
2 strikes, both backdoor cutters. And he is shaving the outside corner with that pitch. And everybody on in this place is on their feet.
Side ball. And the Giants have won it. A come-from-behind victory over the first-place Cleveland Indians from the American League Central. And a 3-run 6th inning comprised of a couple of hits, some daring base running, and some smoke and mirrors. And the Giants turned that into a victory, and perhaps most of all, some outstanding bullpen work once again.
Well, once again, it was the bullpen that was a difference maker here. Andres Torres, spectacular. You don't often survive games where you give up 8 free passes, and the Giants did tonight.
It's a 2-hitter for the Giants pitching staff. 4 1/3 no-hit innings out of the bullpen. We'll be back.